It's September 18th. It's post-Fed. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's morning call. Hopefully everyone's feeling good. Fed days behind us. It's been a really active week. I'm glad that, I love having an open house during an active week also. So you get to see how we maneuver, how we go about our business, how we prepare for the day. And, Fed days aren't easy. I typically lose money on Fed days because it's very erratic. But yesterday wound up being a really good one because a lot of the names that I love to track really closely acted well, gave me relative strength, and showed me that we could still have a bunch of risk on in this market. If you look here coming in, people yesterday say, how could you have all these positions? I'm like, well, I have a reason for all of them. If you have a reason for the position you're in and you can handle it, and you've been doing this a long time, you could easily, just manage your positions, manage your size, and manage hedges. That's what I tried to do, which a lot of people got to watch yesterday real time. A lot of the new trials, a lot of the existing Alpha Team guys who make a living here. We all make a living here. We all do it in a similar way, but we have our own style. So you have to figure out your style, what you want to do, how you want to do it. I have mine, and it continues to evolve. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I just try and use my preparation and my mental toughness that I've created through my go time to execute when it's time to execute so you can see things clearly. That's the bottom line. Anyway, yesterday I did talk to you guys and I said sometimes they shake the tree, but in order to see the 8-day, it's got to break 659.21. So what did it do? It broke 659.21, held the 8-day, came off of it, and closed well. What did the Qs do? I mapped out the same area. I'm like, in order to see the 8-day, it's got to break below, Tuesday's low. And it did, and then it came back up. And now all of a sudden, the SPYs are up for 490. So it's a nice move. What did I do as a hedge? I took off my puts, which is good. At least I'm not going to lose there. I shorted some 661 calls. I don't remember exactly the premium, and some 663. So that's my hedge. But as you can see, I'm pretty net long. So just real quickly, let's talk about Intel, because Intel, everyone's like, how did you know that news wasn't coming out? I had no idea what news was coming out. I would never. I'd be in jail. Bottom line is Intel has been holding. Intel's been going sideways. Intel has a nice channel. Right around here, I put it on as a power play, thinking it was a little bit of like an anti-NVIDIA trade. Just, Trump was clamoring about it, and I wasn't sure. All I knew is you have accumulation. So, and I didn't do it perfectly either. I have options on, which I'm very excited about, but I didn't hold the stock, and the stock never got me out of it. Anyway, if you guys are in power plays, some of you are in power plays. I have a full position. So a full position of Intel, which Mike's going to send out an alert and sell half on the open. You're up 28% in Intel. Sometimes you're like, Red Dog, you're so lucky. I'm like, I'm not lucky. I try and do a lot of consistent trades. Some of them don't work also. This one I'm just pleasantly surprised. I think my options went out at 40 cents. They're going to be $7, and it's not even an earnings play. But it looked good. I was hoping to see 27.55 or a gap fill. It happens. Moving along, NVIDIA, I lost money in NVIDIA. Not I didn't lose money, but I stopped out of some options that were cheap. I had the 180s anyway, so I don't think that would work. I'm still in some 184.50s for next week, which I think is a long shot. For this morning, let's see if NVIDIA holds, the majority of the gains. Let's see if NVIDIA, that's up 5, which is strong for NVIDIA, can hold and give us another gap. This would be now an island bottom. If all of a sudden it holds this gap, here, and then holds it, hey, maybe NVIDIA starts trading better. Maybe the whole China not using NVIDIA chips thing, changes, and it was a negotiating tactic. But anyway, so that's NVIDIA. We'll see how it goes. I'm happy if you're in Intel. Congratulations. How could you see it on my virtual trading floor? You see it right here. What you see is real. It's not paper trading. It's not from TV. Okay, Intel right here. I'm long 919, today's 918. The $25 calls, I think they went out at 40 cents. They'll be $7. Not so bad. I wish I had the stock. I actually made a little bit of money trying to, what's it called, lock it in, but I just said forget that for now. I'm not going to be so cute. Missed Intel, have a lot of positions, can't get them all. Nope, you can't get them all. You don't need them all to make money. So let's move on. That was just a position within positions. If you don't hold positions overnight, then it's just not your game anyway. What really was a trade, though, yesterday, to be honest, was Tesla. Tesla, became a hyper focus again. became a hyper focus last week when it took out 355. First I had calls on, and then I made a call spread before that, so I didn't get worn out. Then I bought the shares, and then all of a sudden we had a really nice move. Nice follow through. Then the news came out that Elon was buying it in the open market, gave you some follow through, reduced some, bought back some options, traded around it, and then yesterday, basically led the way. It went below 411 by $2, reclaimed it. That was a cool little morning trade. Let's see, did anyone catch that Tesla morning trade? There were a bunch of morning trades. There were a bunch of trades in Tesla yesterday. So there's lots of trades throughout the course of the day. First trade was it opened lower, went below 411, came back above. We bought some. That was a trade. I added to what I had overnight. Then, the Fed happened. Fed comes out, cut. Looks like he's going to cut more. SPYs wind up going to the lows of the day. Qs go to the lows of the day. Guess what? Tesla didn't go to the lows of the day, so it showed relative strength and leadership. So we added to it. So that was the clue. Also put on into weakness some options just in case. And that kind of worked. And that actually definitely worked. And then, closed above 425. It's pulled a little bit off highs. It's not having like a sexy move like it had when Elon bought a ton of it. But all in all, it's up 5. I've already trimmed a bunch of shares because I always sell into some strength. And now we'll see how much it holds. These are the 3 levels above. It'll get another point of reference today. You have 440, 465, 488. We'll see. I don't know if it holds the gap or it fills the gap. I've already trimmed some shares. What I might do is I might trim a little bit of the options that I bought yesterday and then create a spread. So if you want, you can see that too. So I have the 432.50s on for tomorrow. So I'll create a spread. Maybe I'll look to see how much the 440s are and sell that so I could sit in them and lock in gains. And I also have ones that I'll keep, which is for next week that I bought into weakness, which is the 440s. So if we have a strong day, these will go up. And if I sell the 440s for this Friday and we get there and we go over it, I don't carry on the 440s for next week. And we'll see how it goes. So I have lots of different ways to skin the Tesla cat today. I'm trying to do everything I can to maximize it. Amazon hasn't been fun. Amazon, I got stopped out of the shares. But what I did do is I did buy more of the 240 calls for October 3rd. I have some for next week and some for this week. It's really not up a whole lot. It's not where the action is. It's up $1.50, which isn't bad. If you bought in the hole, you could probably trim a little bit, and then let's see how it holds up today. 235-ish was the high from earlier this week. It would be nice if it could take that out. I don't think it's probably going to today, but okay. I did buy a little Apple yesterday. Today might not be Apple day. There's a lot of things going on, but I think if it can go sideways a little bit in here. There wasn't much talk about them testing the foldable phone. But anyway, it's been going well since the event. Go a little sideways, and at some point it takes out 241. So I'm going to try and engage there. Microsoft is still lethargic, but you know what? It held us inside range. It's just rebuilding. Just sometimes it's trending, and obviously post earnings it's been sold off, and it's doing okay. Meta was up a bunch pre-market, and then it came in. I don't know what came out on that. I know they have like an $800 sunglass, which is a little expensive. Once the Intel news came out, I guess they felt like they could sell Intel to not sell it, to buy Intel and sell other things. And at some point we'll get a little bit of equilibrium today. But Meta's fine. Meta, you can hold Meta versus 766. You have a lot of room. And now you could even, if it takes out what's this 781, this is 783. 783 is the recent high. This is acting better. Anyway, as far as Netflix, I don't really trade it, but you guys know the Red Dog reversal. It has had a really nice Red Dog reversal earlier this week. Right here from 1267, went below 1182, reclaimed it. That could have been your long entry if you trade Netflix, if you know the Red Dog reversal technique. Let's see if anyone knows the Red Dog reversal technique on the Alpha team or trials. Anyone know? Anyone know the Red Dog reversal? You could Google the Red Dog reversal, and guess what? The Red Dog reversal happened in Netflix early this week, and you didn't even have to know that the Warner Brothers deal was falling apart a little bit. And then if you had it as a day trade, you made money, and if you held it as a swing, you made even more money. But anyway, that's that. There are some by the way, it's 8:31. There are some 8:30 numbers coming out right now. Let's see what happens here. What's the SPY doing? 664. What's the Qs doing? Up 660. What's the IWM doing? Up 280. What's the XLE doing? up 64 cents. A lot of participation. Pick and choose your spot. Just don't try and pick and choose tops. Anyway, so NBIS, a name that I put options on 2 days ago. Perk did set up yesterday. Some guys bought shares. What's that doing? NBIS is up $2. Trim and trail. We'll see if it works its way to 100. What's iron doing? Up another dollar. Was strong. Little follow through there. Can't be so upset about that. Make sure to manage it. What's the wolf doing? The wolf above 11. Let's see where the wolf is. Where's the wolf? Up 27 cents, 1160 new high. We've been in this thing since here, trending along, managing the position. Very nice. Pony's down a little bit because Pony is in the China basket, and China was down overnight, so some of those Chinese names might be good ways to buy higher strikes. If you sold strength, like why wouldn't you have sold strength? This is when we bought Pony. Sideways, add, trim into strength, then you could buy a dip and maybe roll them into a higher strike, because I do think that it gets up to this area in the months ahead. So that's what I'm going to do with the Chinese names. PDD had a great move yesterday. I trimmed a lot. I don't think this move's over. China's just down overnight because the U.S. is up. Sometimes they trade a little bit. Europe was up and we're up, so we're trading in conjunction. Sometimes they do the opposite. So anyway, I will probably, I don't know if I'm going to buy more PDD. I might just sit. Nice move yesterday to sell some. I will buy more JD just because I feel like JD is kind of easy to buy. It's controllable. We started buying the 33s here. I sold a lot of the 33s into this dip. I started buying the 5s. What do I have, JD? The 35s. Trim some into strength, and now I'll buy maybe a little bit more 35s, but I'll maybe go out another week. I think this still works its way up towards 38 or more, something like that. Anyway, Baba, probably needs a day. Right? Look how extended Baba was from the 8-day. Why wouldn't you have sold some into strength? So today's not the biggest deal that that it's little doji, that it's extended. So I would think if Baba can get down to 157-ish and you think it's going to be great, maybe you buy some down there. Quantum, wow, it's crazy, right? IONQ, I listed this like every day last week, and now it's opening above 66. If you don't own IONQ, you cannot buy it today. Doesn't mean it's an easy short. Some guys shorted yesterday, made a ton of money. Some guys are getting their clock clean. The Q trade, they never covered it. They rolled it higher, and now IONQ is up 469. You could try the short again today, but you don't roll it up. You have parameters. Anyway, what a move. Make sure, if you're still in it, congratulations. Make sure to sell some. QBTS was second in command. Make sure if you're in it, sell some. QUBT is the laggard. You could probably trim some, and hey, maybe it plays catch up. RGTI was my biggest winner in this. I got out of it yesterday. Make sure to trim some. What's RGTI doing this morning? Up 98 cents. What's this high here from that? 22. It's great when groups move together. Traders love groups. Traders love to have like gauges to use, and IONQ is the massive leader. And what a move. So anyway, congratulations if you're in it. JD has excellent fundamentals, John says. $23 of value in pure cash, sitting on $32 billion, I recall, up from $28 billion a quarter ago. That's interesting. All right, someone said RR, I'm still in it. Really nice little guy. We've been accumulating. I buy every single dip every day. The last literally 6 days I've been just buying a dip and trading around it on its way to 520. What's it doing this morning for a little guy? It is, it's up 20 cents. It's a little bit more than the last few times. Also, this BBAI, another little guy, up 23 cents, 3%. Started buying that 2 days ago. Stayed with it a little bit. QS, another little one. Waiting for some news for a battery deal. Going sideways, maybe gets above there. ETHE, not a big move, but crypto's not really supposed to have a great September. It's supposed to be down, and it's not. So that's just showing you how strong it is. I would think this 40 gets taken out at some point well before Thanksgiving. It's just a matter of how and when. IBIT, same thing. I would think that it gets above 65.22 and heads towards there at some point, and it will be well above that at some point into Thanksgiving. Someone asked me about AMD. AMD is lower because obviously Intel got the deal. Intel's up 7, which is nice. AMD down 6. Hey, it's a market. Sometimes it's happened to me where I'm in the one down 6 and not in the one up 7. Is what it is. Um, yes, Fibonacci's grandson um, gave us salt on a silver platter. This is Fibonacci's grandson. I didn't know what your real name was. Came into the 6:30 club today. I haven't really been in the whatever you call it type of names, the nuclear names. You want me to look at Oklo for you? I'll look at it. Sometimes I'm just the chief strategic officer, and sometimes I just lose track. Wow, I lose track of a group. You know what happened here is my fundamental guys that I talk to, they scared me a little bit with this about whatever. I don't really want to get into it. Sometimes it's bad to talk to people. Anyway, well, you know what? Some things I got out of that I was upset about. Some things I just cleaned up, and I cleaned up ARM yesterday, so it's saving me some money. It's down, I guess, because of the Intel deal. Why is ARM down? I'm not exactly sure why, but it's down 5. If you're in it, see if there's a low that's put in the first 5-15 minutes. If not, and you're in the shares, you just got to stop yourself out. This is what I do. What was the reason you were in ARM? For it to hold 149 and maybe take out 158. So one buy is here, second buy is there. Guess what? Just going to play with that. So if that reason changes, you got to get out of the trade and revisit it. It happens. Can I look at Palantir? Sure. Palantir I haven't really been that active with. Made a little bit of money there in the past, few weeks, but it's just got a very loose and wide. It's not leading. I like Palantir when it's leading, not when it's like getting dragged around. Anyway, what's this low here from yesterday? Chill had a good trade here yesterday, 161. Loose and wide, it needs time. It's not exactly where the action is. So, but it's fine. Sometimes things take time to rebuild, and that's what Palantir is doing. It's rebuilding. Gave you a great trade. You finally had the big gap up, exhaustion, filled it, and now it's just rebuilding, kind of like Dash. Dash is rebuilding. I screwed up Dash yesterday, but I wasn't sure, and I made some decent money, and I got stopped out when I think I was at lunch. Put a stop at the low of the day, which was probably right around here, and it's been holding, whatever. It is what it is. Thoughts on BMNR? Nice trade. Some of you guys are in it since I gave you the 40 area. Did better than I did, and I would trim and trail into this move up. BMNR is probably up a decent amount. It's up 250. Nice follow through. Just continue to sell some strength so you could buy a dip. That's what you do, and manage the trade as long as the trade and the reason why you're in the position remains the same. All right, guys, 8:39. I got to jump. Thanks for everybody trying the Alpha team today. If you've been here all week, cool. You see exactly how hard we work, how prepared we get. You can't walk in at 9 o'clock and say, "Hey, what's in play?" That's what freaking 18-year-olds used to do back in the day in 2001. This isn't 2001, it's 2025, and I've been around for all those years. So anyway, so have a lot of you guys. We were supposed to have a happy hour today at 4th after the close. We're not. We're having a happy hour at 5:30. I'm going to do a small webinar for an hour from 5:30 to 6:30. I have to be somewhere at 4:30. I couldn't do it, so it switched. Amber, Monica will send out an alert. 5:30, we're going to have a little bit of a webinar. I'm going to teach a little bit of a lesson. We're going to tell some stories, get to know each other a little bit better. It is Thursday, and we'll have some fun. If you have plans, that's cool too. If you tune in, awesome. I'll see you guys probably around 9, 10. Get up from your desk, take a little walk around. I've been sitting here since 6 o'clock. It's 8:40. It's like 12 o'clock for most people out there, but not for us. This is what we do. I'll see you guys later.